From R.D. Smothers Wealth Management, this is The Retirement.
When you retire, if you want an exciting life, you need a boring investment strategy.
Matters.
If you enter into retirement without a plan for income, you're not retired, you're simply unemployed.
Podcast.
Hey, this is your host, Dale Smothers, and you're listening to the Retirement Matters Podcast. My hope is that you will find the information you need in every single show on how to do one of the three things: either saving more money more efficiently, planning better for your future where you can live in retirement worry-free, or my favorite, how you can live a happy and fulfilled life in this life you have been given. We know that your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending it listening to this episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast. On this episode of the Retirement Matters Podcast, we go into what it means to win at retirement. Winning at retirement means a lot of different things for a lot of different people. But what you will see in one of the sections of the show is that it's impossible to win if we continue to move the goalpost. This particular episode is full of wisdom for a retiree and how to make sure that you're able to win. There's a lot of things like knowing what games you'll be playing along the way. If we keep with an analogy of winning in retirement, you've got to know what games it is that you're going to be playing in retirement. And from there, who to pick to have on your team, aka what your portfolio needs to look like. We also discuss the idea of asking for help and how that is perhaps one of the most brave things you can do in retirement. Going at it alone is certainly not advised. If you would like some assistance from us, our team is here to help. 270-600-PLAN. If you're just here to listen and gain some information, we are glad that you're here. We're coming off of Thanksgiving as this particular episode is recorded and played live to a radio audience. We love you tuning into our podcast. If you have missed any of our episodes in the past, go back and take a listen. If you would like to give us an honest review and a rating, we would be greatly appreciative of that rating. And if there's anything we can do to make this show better or to help you understand a little bit more about what we're discussing here, feel free to comment or send us an email, contact@rdswealth.com. We want to make sure that you are getting the information you need to retire the way you desire and live happy in that retirement. So without further ado, let's jump to this week's episode titled Winning at Retirement. Enjoy the show. Good morning to you. I hope you are doing well and you are ready to start discussing all things retirement matters. We're just coming off of Thanksgiving week and weekend. I hope you've had a phenomenal time with family. You've had some time to unplug and unpack. What my grandfather used to say, take your pack off. I think this is the time of year that we try to do that. And I hope that you have had a successful week and weekend of Thanksgiving. Heading into Christmas now, one of the most incredible times of year where we get to be thankful, again, not only for what we have, but what we have been given in a Savior, Jesus Christ. That is what we're all here for and why we exist as a whole. We get to talk to you every week about some trivial matters, about earthly mammon. And today we're going to talk about winning in retirement. We're going to talk about the world that we are in and how we are changing it. And we are going to settle the debate on who is better, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or two other names that we'll talk about. And we're going to show you how that all relates to retirement planning. So don't go anywhere. This show is going to be packed with a lot of really incredible information. But before we talk about any of that, you know as well as I do, we have to pause for positivity. And this week, I want to slow down and think about a couple of things. And these words of wisdom come to us from a book who I believe has recently been made a movie. And it is the book of The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Now, if you've never read that book, it is a children's book. It's not like a Dr. Seuss style children's book. It's more of a, maybe think of Winnie the Pooh type children's book. And if I'm being honest, I can tell you it's got a lot of wisdom in that book that is good for even adults, much less children. You have a lot of negativity in this world that we live in today. And that book is all about this boy trying to find his home. This particular boy meets some characters along the way, and he's lost in the woods. It's a dark night in the woods, and he is looking for the right path forward. He's deep into the woods, so deep that he can't see a path out. And in the woods, when he meets the horse, he tells the horse, I'm having trouble finding the right path forward. I can't find the right way to get out of these woods. I know which direction I want to go, but please help me find the right way. And the horse looks at him and says, can you see the next step in front of you? And the little boy says, yes, I can see the next step. And the horse says, well, then take it. And with that next step comes new perspective. And with new perspective, step by step, comes the right path forward. Knowing the direction is the key. From there, just do the next thing. Don't worry about having to have all of the answers. Just know what the next right thing is that you need to do. And you know what? It doesn't even have to be the right thing in the moment. We are given a pass to make mistakes. As long as that new perspective allows us to see that it wasn't the right step, the wise thing to do is to make a next step. And so many times in life, I feel like we are in this position where maybe there's negativity in the world. There's a lot of reasons to worry, a lot of reasons to fear. And so sometimes people have analysis paralysis, where they're paralyzed because they are analyzing everything around them and making sure that the next step will lead to the next step, and that will lead to the next step. And I get it. There certainly needs to be planning. It's what we do for a living for retirees. But a lot of times, even in the retirement world, if you're so conscious about making no mistakes at all, you will accomplish nothing at all. And this is important for you to understand in your day-to-day life. When you may not be able to see your way out of a situation, of a time in life, of a worry or a fear or a battle that you're going through, just take the next step. Sometimes the next step is just standing still. Sometimes the next step is making an actual step. But whatever that next right step is, take it. And be sure that nothing you do in this world is done without a purpose. If it's standing still or taking a step, there needs to be a reason behind it. There cannot be a fear of messing up, or a fear of missing out, or a fear of doing the wrong thing that causes you to do what you actually do, because most of the time doing nothing is the wrong thing. So, whatever the next step is, take it. From there, you gain perspective, and with new perspective comes new steps. That's one bit of wisdom that comes from that particular book, and it's certainly something we can apply in our life today. But there's another bit of wisdom that you find in this story that I want to share with you. When the horse and the boy finally get out of the woods and they're on their way home, the boy asks the horse, "What's the bravest thing you've ever done?" And the horse, without hesitation, replies, "Asking for help." And the boy is slightly confused, and he says, "You're saying that asking for help is the bravest thing you've ever done?" And the horse says, "That's exactly right. Because asking for help is not giving up. It's actually refusing to give up." And when you think about asking for help in that perspective, when you realize that by saying, "I need someone to help me," not do it for me, but help me accomplish this goal, help me achieve what I'm trying to achieve, assist me, because I can't do it on my own. Maybe it's because I don't have the skill set, or maybe I don't have the knowledge just yet, or maybe I just need additional help. By asking for help, you are refusing to give up. Instead, I want to make this thing come to fruition. I want this mission to be complete. I want this objective to be achieved. I need assistance in doing so. That brings to mind a quote that I saw years ago that said, "It's not a big enough dream if it doesn't require a team." It's one of the foundations that RDS Wealth was built on. And that is, asking for help does not show weakness. Instead, it shows determination. I need assistance. And in the world we live in today, we are here to help one another. I believe you, as a listener of the show, are also in this life with a purpose to make it a better place than you found it. Making this world better than we found it is our objective. Shining our light into someone else at times of weakness is what we're called to do, because there will come a day when we need someone to shine their light into us. Whether it's a smile or an encouraging word, a compliment, these things are very simple for us to do, yet they're difficult if we allow pride or we allow embarrassment to take hold. Asking for help sometimes is a prideful thing. Not asking for help is the result of letting pride take over. And oftentimes it's easier to just quit than to ask for assistance. So as we go into this week, I want you to think about these two things, these two pieces of wisdom. And the first one is, there are times where you may not be able to see the exact path. The right path may not be completely laid out for you just yet. But by taking the wise next step, you will gain perspective. Take the next step. If you can see it, take it. You don't have to know every single step along the way to get you out of a situation. Just take the next one. And from there, new perspective begins to form. And secondly, in this book, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, this book is jam-packed with wisdom, and it might be an encouraging read if you have a grandchild or a child. You know, I've got an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and these types of books help us at least start a conversation that will instill life skills. And with you today, I've shared 2 from this book. And the second one is, asking for help is not giving up. Instead, it's refusing to give up. Those are pretty powerful statements, things that we're going to take into the rest of this show, as well as the rest of this week. So with that, our pause for positivity is complete, and we are going to a quick break. We're going to reset. We're going to come back and talk about what it means to win in investing, and you're not going to want to miss this section of the show. Don't go anywhere. We're coming back with more Retirement Matters after this.
It's 4th and 1 with 2 seconds left in the game. Less than 1 yard separates you from victory. You have the best running back in the league, but your coach calls a Hail Mary.
As silly as that sounds, we see a lot of retirement managers being far too aggressive with your investments when a more conservative play would be a better fit. You have questions, we have answers.
Contact R.D. Smothers Wealth Management, 270-600-PLAN. That's 270-600-7526.
All right, welcome back to the show. Let's jump into the word winning in investing. And I want to ask you this question. What does it mean to win? And you may be thinking, well, Dale, that's why we're listening. Tell us what it means to win. And it's impossible for me to tell you what it means to win in an investment. But I do want to share with you a couple of things that you need to use as guidelines as you are investing, especially if you're doing any kind of trading or maybe making decisions at these record highs that we find ourselves in the stock market, gearing up for retirement. So no matter what phase of retirement you're in, whether you're in growth phase, just starting out, or you are in income phase and you're about to transition, let's say, into retirement, you need to understand very clearly what it means to win in your portfolio. And only you can set that metric. It's kind of like planting a goalpost. If you plant the goalpost, it becomes a whole lot easier to hit than if you put it on a revolving wheel, let's say. This wheel that maybe moves left and right and back and forth. A consistently moving goalpost is almost impossible to hit. By the time your foot makes contact with the ball, that goalpost has changed. So the reason I'm bringing this up is I've recently had a conversation with a gentleman who is considering making a move over to RD Smothers Wealth Management and allowing us to assist him in setting up a successful retirement. We've got a game plan. We have a Roth conversion strategy. We have an income plan. We know exactly how we're going to invest this money to make sure that we're not losing a great deal of money in a downward turning market, and that we're having the liquidity built in that's necessary to access these funds as he desires. Ultimately, it's going to be money that generates income for him for the rest of his life and sets up generational wealth in the future for his family. But he is having a hard time transitioning from growth phase to income phase. It is a mindset. And this mindset comes to him because he years ago bought Bitcoin and Ethereum and Tesla. And he bought a lot of it. And with that, he has made a great deal of money. And with this great deal of money, he is now setting himself up for a very successful retirement plan and a very successful legacy plan that he is going to leave to his children and his grandchildren and their children. This is the kind of money that most people would be very satisfied with. However, he's in this state with Bitcoin hitting record highs and Tesla hitting some low points, but recently bouncing up very high. He's having a hard time transitioning from growth mode to income mode. And very shortly, he is going to have to start making decisions because he's going to need income. And who cares if you've got millions of dollars in these stocks if you can't make it generate income for you? And while he certainly understands that, and he is very close to partnering with our firm, and together we're going to walk through this tax situation that he has because he has a lot of capital appreciation. We're going to unwind that together for him over a course of years, and then making Roth conversions along the way in his large IRA positions. All of this is laid out, and he is very much on board with it. But just a couple of days ago, we had a conversation, and he said to me, Dale, would you be okay if I held on to my cryptocurrency and my Tesla? Now, for the sake of storytelling, I'll call him Mark. And I told him, I said, Mark, you're completely okay holding on to that money. It's around half of his total portfolio. And I'm confident that you have a plan. But I want to talk to you about what it means to win with that particular stock. And I went into telling him, and many of our listeners need to hear this. So if you're one of them, if you personally own stocks that you are holding off until a certain time to sell, or you're having a hard time taking your winnings that you've made and making them more diversified, I want you to listen to this and apply it to yourself. I said, Mark, what you're doing is really setting yourself up to never be able to win. You're not going to be able to win because unless you have a defined set of rules that show how you win, you will continue to play this game until one of two things happens. Either A, you sell and the stock continues to go up and you beat yourself up because you say, I knew I shouldn't have sold it. Or B, you will not sell and the stock will finally fall. And when that stock falls, even if it's in a normal sequence of returns, you will beat yourself up saying, I should have sold it earlier. You're playing this game without an exit strategy. And by doing that, unfortunately, you will have a hard time at winning this game because you're always going to be moving those goalposts. I asked him, I said, Mark, if your Bitcoin back in January of this year, sitting at, say, $39,000 a coin, if I told you that within 12 months it's going to be at $100 a coin, and I asked you, would you sell at that point, you would have likely told me yes. But now that we're here, you have this fear of missing out. And the good news is your objectives are complete. Everything you want in retirement has been done. In other words, you have won the game. When will you stop playing? You are risking money and your future, your family's future, when you don't have to. I think we should take the majority of this, put it into the diversified plan, and hold on to the rest playing with house money, not your own. He understood this strategy, and we are now moving forward with a more diversified retirement plan. You see, if he had held this Bitcoin until it went to $50,000 a coin, he would have likely been experiencing negative feelings at that point in time. His emotions would have gotten the best of him, and those emotions would have told him to sell. But that's the worst time to sell. You sell and rebalance at the highs, not at the lows. And we right now are in the highs. So I ask you, where is your portfolio right now? What does it mean to win? Have you actually sat down with someone to look at what it takes to make retirement a reality? And if the answer is no, you need to. If you're more than 10 years away from retirement planning, I just want you to be wise in making your decisions. Know when you're going to get out and when you're going to buy back in. I'm a big long-term buy and hold type of investor, but with these ultra volatile stocks like Bitcoin or Tesla, be careful. And if you are in any of that and you're close to retirement, or you're just even in the S&P 500 and you're close to retirement and you've not sat down to see what it means to win, let's talk. 270-600-PLAN. We've got to understand what it means for you specifically to win the game of retirement and going into your retirement years with as much money as you possibly can makes the odds much more in your favor. So let's get together and make sure that we have a game plan for the exit. Again, 270-600-PLAN. Our team is here to assist in any way we can. We're going to take a quick break. We're coming back with more Retirement Matters. We're going to settle this debate on who's better, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, or two other names we're going to mention. And I don't think it's exactly what you're thinking it is, but you're not going to want to miss it. We're back in 30 seconds.
You're listening to the Retirement Matters Show with Dale Smothers. Dale is the founder and president of R.D. Smothers Wealth Management. We specialize in building retirement plans that allow you to walk away from the worry of running out of money. If you'd like to chat with a member of our team, you can do so absolutely free by calling 270-600-PLAN. That's 270-600-PLAN. Visit us online at rdswealth.com and be sure to sign up for our free weekly newsletter.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're jumping right in because we've got a lot to unpack in a very short period of time. I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to listen up to the rules of this debate before we go any farther. Here's the question. Who is better between these four names? LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Babe Ruth, or Clyde Beatty? And now you may be thinking, wait a minute, this is not what I was expecting. This is not the debate I was expecting. And who in the world is Clyde Beatty? All right, so Clyde Beatty was a famous lion tamer in the Clyde Beatty and Cole Brothers circus back in the mid-1900s. One of the best in the world, one of the best to ever live. He was very, very good at what he did and entertained thousands of people across the nation traveling with his circus. But what in the world does that have to do with LeBron James? What does that have to do with Michael Jordan? And what does that have to do with Babe Ruth? The answer is nothing at all. And unfortunately, we see a lot of people who are building their investment portfolios in the same manner. They are trying to compare apples to oranges. They're comparing Babe Ruth to LeBron James. Or maybe they're comparing a LeBron James to a Clyde Beatty. And this type of analogy here, I hope you're understanding, it doesn't hold water in the real world because it really depends on what you are going for. Who would be the best suited individual on a basketball court? Well, now we have two choices, and we can certainly decide which of those two you would like to pick. I think you would come out okay with either of those. But if we're comparing who's going to be better at the game of baseball, without a doubt, we're picking Babe Ruth, the great Bambino. And if we're looking to achieve an objective of taming a lion for entertainment purposes, Clyde Beatty is the man. This is the way that we have to look at investments. Each investment has an objective. Each type of investment has a different objective than its counterpart. And if you're building a portfolio full of just really good basketball players, and there's a reason for your portfolio to tame a lion, you're going to fall short. If you're building your portfolio with really good baseball players, let's just imagine that you're working with a comprehensive financial advisory firm, and they are not just having to sell certain types of investments, but instead they have the entire world of investing opened up to them. But they still, for some reason, only build your portfolio to be really, really good at baseball. And yes, in this analogy, they can pick any baseball player in the world. It's not just Babe Ruth or Barry Bonds or Sammy Sosa or Mark McGwire. Maybe it's not just Alex Rodriguez that you have to choose from, but you can pick an entire lineup, and your portfolio is going to have 50 people on it, and all 50 of them are really good at baseball. But all of a sudden, you need to be able to play a little bit of basketball. It's going to be challenging. What if they pick only golfers? What if they pick only lion tamers? And if we go a little bit deeper into this analogy, what if we knew exactly what games we were going to play? Your portfolio would look different. If for you were only going to play golf and bowling and basketball and one round of lion taming, you would know exactly who you would pick. Maybe the lion taming would be a little bit of a challenge. I'll give you a hint. Clyde Beatty's pretty good at it. But at the end of this, you would know exactly who you needed to pick. Or maybe you wouldn't know who you needed to pick because you're not read up very well on sports. You see, either of these two people, the people who know sports very, very well, but you don't know what games you're going to play, or the people who have no idea about sports at all, they need to understand what lies ahead to be successful. The ones who have no idea about sports at all need to not only know what games need to be played, but who the best players are in those games. The ones who know all of the things they need to know about sports need to know what games will be played. But to win in this game of retirement, you are going to be faced with a lot of different types of challenges, a lot of different types of, air quotes here, games that we will play. Sometimes you'll be called to play basketball. Sometimes you're called to play bowling. Sometimes it's water polo. Sometimes it's lion taming. And depending on what your goals and objectives are, your games will be different than the games that are being asked of your neighbors, your family members, or your closest friends. So let's bring this back and let's unpack it in the investing world. If you know everything there is to know about investing, but you don't know what you are going to face in retirement, it's going to be challenging to pick the right types of investments, to make sure you know when you're taking Social Security or how much you should be budgeting for Medicare. Is IRMA going to affect you? What are taxes going to look like, and what moves should you be making right now to mitigate those taxes? We are here to help you do that. We assist you in every bit of that. At RDS Wealth, we walk you through the step-by-step processes and know what games, based off of your objectives, you should be prepared to play. And if you have no idea about investing at all, and you are just completely uneducated, we're going to bring you in. We're going to teach you, quote unquote, what games you're playing, and we're going to assist you in picking the right players. All of this comes in our no-cost consultation As we begin to work together in that first consultation, it becomes clear on who you are and what you need at your disposal. And from there, we work together to build the Retirement Atlas, which is designed to get you from where you are to where you want to be in your retirement journey and make sure that you can live the retirement you desire, going on to then impact the people and the world around you. That is our promise. That is our commitment. And that is what we believe we're doing each and every day. We are changing the world of retirement planning one client at a time, allowing you to walk away from the fear and worry of the stock market and focus on the people and things you care about the most. All right, guys, that's our show. I appreciate you tuning in each and every week. My goodness, I hope that last analogy really hit home for you and helps you understand what we do here at RDS Wealth. We assist you in picking the right tools to accomplish your objective. No tool is better than the other unless we know exactly what we are trying to do. And all of that is set by you as we work together in our partnership for your retirement success. We love what we do here at RDS Wealth. Our entire team is bought into this mission of making your retirement all that you desire. We want you to live happy in retirement. And with that promise and commitment comes a partnership of someone that you can count on to help you walk through this journey step by step. If that's something you're interested in or something you need assistance with, give us a call, 270-600-PLAN. We'd be happy to sit down with you and help you make some year-end moves as we go into 2025. We have just completed Thanksgiving. We're thankful for you, thankful that you are tuning in each and every week. And until we talk again, whether that's in person or right here on this radio station, always remember, save money, plan well, and live happy in retirement. God bless.
Investment advisory services made available through AE Wealth Management, LLC. AE Wealth Management and RD Smothers Wealth Management are not affiliated companies. Investing involves a risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This radio show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual situation. RD Smothers Wealth Management is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any governmental agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by RD Smothers Wealth Management.